8/17 at 7 o'clock. We shortened the agenda today because we have a couple people not feeling well. So we're going to start with review and possible vote to approve any sports agreement applications. Actually, we're going to hold off on that one. We're going to go to 5. Discuss and possible vote on request from Assawamsa Elementary School to use TWC parking lot on October 12th, 2023 from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We have a motion. I don't know why. It's something that they have. They use it all the time.
Didn't we do this last week?
We did. They just followed up and said that they changed the date.
Got it.
Just
I make a motion to approve the request from Assawamsa.
Second, Mike.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All aye. Okay, number 7, review and possible vote on request from Mike Griffiths for field usage for company baseball league. Peter checked with FLAA and they said as field 1 is absolutely fine. They have no problem with him using it. They're not going to use it. Do we have a motion to allow Mike Griffith to
What?
do a baseball league? Isn't it a softball? Company softball?
It says something softball. I can't read it.
How many people are going to be there?
I can't read it.
pulling it up here. Where is it?
So it's not pocket.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, I completely forgot about that. Okay.
Yes. He says in the notes we'll have roughly 16 to 20 people on the field
Oh, got it.
once a week, and he asked. He's very flexible, but I asked him about Thursdays 4 to 8 p.m. from August 14th to September 28th. That's 6 weeks, and he said that worked for him. And also, and then Jacob got back to me and said field 1 would be fine as well. So everything seems to be in order. The question would be, do you want to charge any fee?
I was just going to ask what we would charge him for that.
I'm just reading all these notes.
I mean, it's 16 people. 16 to 20 people.
For a league for 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's got to be
$22 would be like $360.
$22.50. No, I mean, so my point is generally you got 10 on a team, 9 on a team, so 16 doesn't make sense.
Because it's not a league like we have leagues.
Is it like the Sunday league here, whoever shows
It's a
up?
company team building exercise.
Oh, okay.
It's not a real league.
I don't know. What damage could they do? Like what could they damage that would require money?
I don't think they would do any damage to require money.
Well, why, we're not charging them?
That's what we're discussing.
Well, why wouldn't you charge them? We charge everybody else and their brother.
Yes and no, but that's okay.
It's, I'm sure, company thing, people are paying for it, so,
I'm sure the company's paying for it.
yeah.
So why don't we just do $10 a person? That brings it to $200 if they have 20 people.
$200.
I'm confused.
Does that seem fair to you, Michael? No.
No, not at all.
Okay.
They're once a week for 6 weeks for 3 to 4 hours. So, I just don't know why we just wouldn't charge the regular rate that everybody else does. It's not like it's a 1-day thing, it's 6 weeks.
Right, once a week. So it's kind of like volleyball.
Exactly. You can't set a precedent.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's just my point.
Okay.
And, insurance,
Oh.
gotta do insurance in case they get hurt.
Yep.
He's working on that.
Okay. Good job, Peter. All right. So do you have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve the softball league on once a week for 6 weeks, starting at the end of August. Is it, can work with Tuesday or Thursday, 4 to 5:30 PM at $22 a person, contingent on that we get the insurance rider.
Before I second this, it's a baseball league, not a softball league. Does that matter?
It says softball here,
I thought it was softball.
I see company baseball league.
because in the request for an event, it says softball.
I have baseball on both of my pages.
I got softball on this one.
Okay, I'll second it. It'll be okay.
I don't think it matters.
I don't see either, so.
All right.
You'll approve whether.
Baseball here.
I would say that does say softball.
Got it, okay. So second,
Any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
All aye. Look at us getting stuff done. Number 9, discuss and possible vote on new soap dispensers for TWC bathrooms. So Mike and I checked out all the bathrooms this week, it all blends
Last
together.
weekend.
And Bob Beach had mentioned that the kids like to take the soap dispensers off and dump it on the bathroom floor and slide around. And when we went in, there was only one soap dispenser there and it was broken, so we took them out. We really need to get other soap back in there though. So Peter found us, those were expensive soap dispensers too, they were $50 a piece. So Peter found us $32 ones that mount on the wall and lock, so we won't hopefully have that problem anymore. So if we could have a motion to buy 4, I'm assuming we're gonna do them in the women's room and the men's room.
Mm-hmm.
4 new soap dispensers for the bathrooms, that would be wonderful.
I make a motion to buy 4 new soap dispensers.
I second.
Any discussion?
Yes.
Oh, go ahead.
Just while we're talking about that, because it has to do with the bathroom.
Yep.
Bathroom, do we have an agreement with John Miranda about taking care of those bathrooms?
We'll have to check his contract, but I know that was part of the negotiations and I thought it was in there,
All right. I just want to see what he's responsible for and what we're
what
responsible
we're responsible for. But
Yeah.
I know Bob goes in and takes care of them on the weekends. He fills the toilet paper and the soap dispensers and,
for. Okay.
okay, anything else? Anybody for aye?
Aye.
Aye.
All aye. Okay, nice. Peter, can we pull up his, John Miranda's agreement contract? We must have a copy of that, right?
We do. Go and pull it up now.
No, next week. It's fine. Number 10, discuss and possible vote about trunk or treat. So I joined the Parks Commission to try to bring more activities here, and I would like to do a trunk or treat. Does everybody know what a trunk or treat is?
Yeah.
I would like to do that over by the softball fields parking lot in the maintenance area. And then we can work out the details as we go on, but I just want to make sure everybody's on board with bringing that here. I know the Lakeville Church of Nazarene has done one in the past, and I talked to the pastor today, and he said, like the kids that are doing the sports in the field, they do it right after their sports gets out. So all those kids do it, but he said only a handful of kids from the town come. So maybe he said he was gonna do his on the 28th of October probably. So maybe if we did ours on the 21st, the week before, we'd get more people involved with the town, and maybe that'll help his trunk or treat out too.
We're
I
doing it
don't
on the
think it-
Saturday, right?
Yeah,
Where
Is it-
is this gonna go?
by the soccer field parking lot. Now, I don't know if that's something you want to pursue or don't want to pursue.
Well, I think we should pursue it, but we need to see the details before we approve it, but I think we should go forward to
Okay,
figure it out.
all right. Brenna,
I agree.
same, okay.
Because you could do a lot with it. You could even do it on the winding road that goes by the volleyball courts to the Loon Pond Lodge and like block off either side.
We could, except there's probably a wedding that day. Fall is one of our busiest, we don't really have a non-busy, spring is our non-busy season. Other than that, weddings every weekend, summer, winter, fall.
Isn't this at night though?
Not really.
No.
It would probably be like 2 to 4, 1 to 3. The church does theirs 12 to 2. So
Well, we
maybe,
would run a parking lot anyway for the cars.
maybe dusk. Yeah. But with that, the wedding's also, like a Saturday wedding would be at 6 or 7 o'clock, but now it wouldn't be. It would be at 4 o'clock, right? Because they're outside at the gazebo most of the time. So we'll have to work that out. But I already talked to Heather and she said we'd work something out. Not a problem. Okay, capital projects update. I don't want to start. Go ahead, Mike. You start with the Northfields.
Sure, you don't want to start. Here's our Northfields of 75 pages. I have a conference, we'll have a call with Ari tomorrow to discuss this and get it out to bid as soon as possible. The only issue is, he would like to include the fencing in this, and I don't want to include the fencing in this. I want it as a separate bid. Because, this contractor who's gonna do it is gonna pick anybody. He's gonna make money off them. The guy could be from Bangor, Maine, and I think we should do it separate and try to get someone within 30 miles in case there's an issue.
Yeah.
So I would like us to have control over the fence and who they are, than have this guy just do it himself. Thoughts?
I agree, because he's just gonna get a subcontractor to do it, and he's gonna hire his friend or anybody, where hopefully, I mean, but you know, when you go out to bid, you always take the risk that it's still gonna be somebody from out of town.
But that's, at least we have more control over it.
You can ask the people to bid,
Right.
but
I'm just more comfortable.
You
keeping
actually
it
know the credentials of the people who are doing it if you're the one hiring them.
right, but it's a big job, because that's a lot of fence. Do you know off the top of your head how
It's
much
about
fencing?
40-something thousand bucks.
So how much longer would that delay?
It wouldn't
Project.
delay. It would go up once the parking lot's done.
Got it.
And then we would just put it right up.
Have we started looking into fence people?
Yeah, we did. That's where we got the bid from. And we have the
The
specs.
estimate.
We have the specs ready to go. So we would just give it to them. And I would think that it would go out same time but separate. So that's why I'm gonna try to get this going tomorrow. I don't think we need to vote on it, but I just think I think we're in agreement with it. What's the next thing? Skate park, Melissa and I have spent a decent amount of time on it. She kind of jumped the gun on me going all the way to Plymouth. I could have saved time, but that's okay.
I actually did I beat him dance.
So we looked at a skate park in Plymouth, it's built as a skate park.
Mm-hmm.
They got the gullies and everything. It's beautiful.
It was really cool.
But we brought the gentleman who runs Skater's Edge from Taunton, who's been here for years. He loves it. He's gonna help us out with it. It's gonna take more than just resurfacing, because the jumps aren't exactly in the right spot, or they're safe, and there's space in between the ramps and the things, so it really needs, should be done better. So, I had a talk with Brian the other day, so, we're gonna do a proposal and send it to ARPA. Probably think it's between 80 and 100, depending on what we wanna do. We can keep some things there, probably have to fix the fence a bit, but like I said, if we're gonna do it, we got one shot to do it, and let's do it right, just like with anything else here, the
Yeah.
playground, whatever.
Yeah.
And then, cameras. So, I reached out to the IT guy who town has a consultant from Green River Associates, but he hasn't been returning calls. So I talked to accounting. We have a Verizon account. I'll just ask for 5 lines. Frank, you can help me with that initial setup with the software. Clear Pond. Well, we're only gonna leave the one up in, John Pond, facing the porta potties. And then we're gonna put 2 at Clear Pond, and then we're gonna put 3 here.
Okay.
So I want to, at some point, us do a walk around, say, okay, we want it here, here, and here, just to confirm it, and then I'll get them up.
Okay.
So, and that's it as far as capital, except for playground.
Okay. Well, we have the shed too, the shed is coming in this fall, and the shed is what the DPW is going to prep the site for. The playground site was prepped, I know it came up at your last meeting. Playground site was prepped by the playground company. So we took their ad alternate because we ran into some roadblocks, so that was the only way to get it done. So we paid more than we wanted to. So on that note, we're out of money. We had $40,000 almost left, and then we had little things that were like weed block and all that kind of good stuff. The fence is costing $10,000, and the estimate to get the pathways done is $25,000. So that leaves us with $2,000 left on the playground fund. So it'll be, Michael will be out there weeding the rest of the playground.
I was gonna do it, but it rained. So that fence, that's a definite we got from.
Coming in next week.
Yeah, that's what, okay. So that's definite. So can we open up the playground without doing the pathways?
Yes, we can, but we touted this playground as an inclusive playground, and the playground itself absolutely is. If we don't have the walkways in, then we don't have an ADA accessible way for a wheelchair to get from the parking lot into the thing. So it's a dilemma. Do you keep the playground closed because there's no ADA approved way to get to it, because we're talking September, October before that walkway gets in? Or do we open it up, and if they choose to use it, they can?
Well,
It's
it looks ready to
something we have
go,
to
but
discuss.
you're correct about that. If they don't have access, that could be a problem.
If they can't roll on the grass that's going up the side to get in, how can they roll on the wood chips? Because wood chips is firm, or grass is firmer than wood chips.
Yes, grass is not, and wood chips are both not ADA acceptable. They're not ADA acceptable. So those wood chips that are on the playground now are not your standard wood chips. They're engineered wood fiber. Those wood chips cost $10,000 to bring in from out of state. So
that wheelchairs can.
So that, yeah, wheelchairs can roll on them. Yeah, there's only a handful of ADA acceptable materials.
Okay, so just say the fence goes up next week,
Yes.
right? I'm sorry, where are the gates to go in?
The gates, one of them is close to the entrance that's there now, because that's where the walkway is going to come from the handicapped van space. We're going to put a crosswalk going from there across the driveway, and then from the driveway to that arbor with all the stuff growing on it is going to be the walkway, and the gate will be right there to come in. That's one gate. We have another gate in the long side of the playground. It's kind of in the middle, another pathway gate, and then we have a 10-foot gate that our machinery can come in and out of. When we need new wood chips, the truck can back in and dump them in. Ryan can get the lawnmowers and anything else he needs in through that gate. So there's actually 3 gates.
So what's the closest gate to get on the playground?
It'll be the gate that's in the front, right across from the handicapped van space.
All right.
It's 80 feet. It's a big, huge pathway.
Yeah. So, and where's that pathway gonna come from? How's that happening?
How is that happening? The estimates are coming in, so that will depend whether we actually have to go out to bid, or if we can just find somebody. If it's best business practices, or if we have to go out to bid.
Well,
I've heard 2 different scenarios, 2 different numbers that we have to go by. So we'll see.
well, if it's $9,999, we
It
don't
is
need
not.
to bid. It's more?
Oh yes.
And that's in the money that we had left over that you just included,
Mhm.
correct?
Yeah, that taps out the budget. Because we weren't, I guess we just didn't think that far through. We didn't think we needed a 80-foot pathway to get there. So that 80-foot pathway is over $15,000.
I think we just visited the playground. I think we should consider using, I don't know if it's cement or concrete. Stamped concrete. So you'll get the illusion of the pavers, but you'll seriously cut down on labor. Using stamped concrete would prevent weeds from growing up between because there's no actual cracks. So that would reduce maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
And the wheelchairs wouldn't get caught when they're rolling over it because the pavers don't have a chance to sink or shift.
You know what? Now that you say that, I'm not sure. Concrete probably is ADA accessible, but stamped concrete may not be because of the size of the grooves. So that's something we'll have to look into. I will call and find out.
Yeah, I'm sure they have smaller grooves.
They might.
So the real question is, whatever we put there, can we open it without it?
That's the question.
So, you want me to make a motion?
Yes, please make a motion. Motion away.
I make a motion that, once the fence is installed, that we open up the playground, for use by the town, and which will give us time to look at ADA compliance for a walkway. Only because this playground's gonna shut down.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the only playground. Soccer, baseball, cheerleading, whatever is gonna start to come. So we're gonna need babysitting, t-ball. Places to do it.
Yep.
And, as long as there's no gaping holes or anything like that. And if there is, we can always block that area off. Didn't we say we can put a snow fence and put it around anything that
We did say that.
we or,
You did.
well, whatever. But I think it's very important that we open it up, as long as it's safe.
There were a few issues, like some of the rocks do need to be removed. I'm totally on board with that.
But it's ready to use. once
It's
the
ready to
fence
use.
is up.
There's nothing, we want to make it better. We want to improve on it, but there's nothing there that wasn't there 2 months ago.
And then, we get it done in the winter, it's not gonna be used during the fall, then it'll be ready to go when we do the ribbon cutting ceremony, or however you wanna handle it.
Yep.
So, anyone second the motion?
I second the motion.
It's tough when there's only 3 of us.
Any further discussion?
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All aye.
This is number.
Melissa's happy.
Well, it's just, I have
It just doesn't make sense not to.
No, it needs
No.
to be opened.
I had a grandmother tell me her 6-year-old granddaughter cries every time she comes because she can't play on the playground, she goes to the swings.
Yeah.
I had a grandmother stop and ask me when it was opening because she was babysitting her grandson in a couple weeks and she really needed something to do with him. It's just,
It's just gonna look, when we got 100, 200 people here, they're just gonna look at something that's blocked off. It just
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
make sense.
They'll need to understand it's not done yet, that there are
Right.
still parts of it, but we're gonna have a grand opening when it's finally done, and everything is scheduled to be done already, so.
right. So I have a meeting tomorrow morning, so as long as I can get them on board with this decision,
Okay,
Who's
I
that?
don't see why.
Who you have a meeting with?
Right.
Oh. Should be an issue.
Oh,
Alright,
Michael. All right, you want to go back up to number 3, review and possible vote to approve any sports agreement applications.
wait a second to pull them out. What's on tap?
I think we have women's soccer. Didn't they just want to change their time or something?
No, women's soccer was approved last week, at the
Okay.
last meeting.
Yep.
Is that the one just on Sundays, 2 to 6?
Yep, Sunday afternoons.
It's
Start date.
Sundays, 2 to 6.
Charge at $22.50, park usage.
Oh, we had softball did their tournament last weekend, and I think our girls did pretty good. I don't know for sure, because I haven't heard, but I'm pretty sure I saw something on Facebook.
Wait a minute, are we on soccer?
No, I just said softball had their tournament. They
Oh,
did
I
pretty
thought we
good.
were on the soccer.
Freetown, the Lakeville soccer, women's soccer is right here, in here. It's not there for a reason.
That is part of the appendix for the
For the
minutes.
minutes, sorry.
So you have to go past that
There
section.
we go. Yeah, because the Tri-Fest and everything's in there.
Tri-Fest, I met with him this morning. He was super nice. He was super excited.
Great guy.
He said he was waiting for the pod and he couldn't believe how nice that our fields and everything looked. He's excited.
He gave you the check,
Peter's already taken care of it.
and we have a copy, at least out of the insurance binder he sent.
Yep.
And we haven't seen a plan of where everything is going, right? The porta potties, all of
The
that?
porta potties are already up.
I didn't know. Okay, so that's good.
Yeah,
All right.
there'll be more coming in tomorrow, but they're going in the same spots they were in today. He said at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, the guys will be there setting up all their
Yep.
big stages
The
and
bike
stuff.
racks and all that.
Yep. So he said by 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, it'll be just like race time.
Good. Thank you.
All right, soccer field area. That's funny. Field hockey is gonna try to come back again. They're asking for 1 day a week for 2 hours a day, and they're not particular about the day, whenever. So.
So we have to look at soccer and whatever they don't
You're
need.
thinking first before I tell you what I was thinking.
All right.
Well, women's soccer is 2 fields on Sunday afternoons from 1 to 4, 2 to 5, depending on daylight savings.
But you said day doesn't matter, right?
Eric said day does not matter. He's open.
So we can work around whatever soccer schedule is,
We can work around whatever soccer's schedule is.
and then just go from there.
Sure. But I would really like to get field hockey in
It's okay.
on one of our fields, right? 1 field for 2 hours a week doesn't seem like it's a.
What I would like to
Big
do
deal.
is, on the soccer field, is look at the one that's not as beat up as the other ones for healing purposes. He's still gonna get a soccer field, it's gonna be fine, but as you know, playing soccer isn't the same as using.
When was the last time you watched field hockey?
2015.
I think that it's not like golf. You're not gonna have the big divots.
Right.
They don't hit the dirt. Like, I will be surprised if we find holes on the fields. But you know, that's something you'll have to watch. And if there are, then we'll have to address that issue. But it's not. I don't think it's gonna damage the fields nearly as much as you guys think it's gonna damage the fields.
So we'll
But
just
we'll
keep an
have
eye
to-
on them.
And we'll have to wait and see, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
So soccer.
What are we talking about?
We moved on to soccer, right? You wanted to do soccer next?
But we didn't approve field hockey yet.
You said you wanted to do soccer to find out what day to give them.
Oh, I didn't realize soccer was in here. All right, go ahead, sorry.
That's okay. Soccer has 4 fields, 252 players, 18 travel and rec teams, 7 days a week, Monday through Friday, 4 to 9 p.m., Saturday 7 to 9 p.m., and Sunday 7 to 4 p.m. August to November. Hi guys. So I guess we'll ask you, give up 1 field on Sundays. What makes the most sense to you guys for squeeze field hockey in?
Well, can they use the field probably where the football guys were?
I don't. Brenner and I are new here, so I don't know which field that is. If you're gonna stick them on field 4, the practice fields way back in the corner, that's not really
They
fair.
won't. Well, last year when they came, we put them by the football fields. We put them behind the baseball fields back there where it all was, but it's too
Right.
bumpy. I
They
mean, the
pay
ball,
the same amount as everybody
ball-
else. They shouldn't be stuck in a corner.
but technically, hold on 1 second. Field hockey is what time to what time? It doesn't matter,
It
2
doesn't
hours,
matter.
right? And they go to when? Till November?
Yeah, this season.
So it's not gonna work for them to do 4 to 6 on Sunday.
Well, no, because it's gonna be dark.
Right, so my question to soccer is why do you have it till 9 PM? 6 days a week.
I don't know, I didn't put those dates in, 9 PM seems a little too late to have any kind of practice without lights, so, it's probably more like 5:30 in the fall, right?
So Monday through
On average.
Friday is practice from 4 to 9?
It's probably about right, kids go to school, so the only thing that, when you read that, I think you announced like 18 teams, it's probably more like 30 teams or more. We have 18 travel teams, and then fall rec teams. There's
Okay.
gonna be 12 for each age division, right? So there's a lot of kids in the fall. We're gonna have another,
This says 252 people.
Yeah, and that's 250 of travel players. But we also have fall recreational, which is our biggest program ever.
It's gonna
right?
be a
So
lot
I don't know
more.
how many other kids we have in that. But right now we have 250 or so kids in fall travel, and then we're gonna have a bunch more with fall rec. That's just every kid in Lakeville and Freetown shows up for that.
Is there really talking to us?
On a mic.
Boston? Is Boston here?
I can step up and,
Yeah.
or what, the mic?
I'm sorry, could they get mics?
I think.
Is that a mic right there?
Those
All
are
right, so
mics?
if you just come up and sit
Yeah.
in that chair right
Thank
there,
you.
that would be
Happy
great,
to.
thank you. If Jose was here, he'd be right down.
All right, yeah, no problem. So I think we have more teams with the fall program, right? So that's, ages 4 to 14, I think. And there's teams at every group. People are still registering for this, so I don't have an exact count of how many teams we're gonna have. Unfortunately, they take longer and longer to register, so we'll probably know in the next couple of weeks, but very shortly after that, we'll start forming teams, and we can let you know exactly how many teams. But that's the need for the space, because all those coaches will organize practices and
Right.
use the space. Did the hockey folks, field hockey folks, is this for practices or games, and how much space do they need?
Clinics, I think they do. Last year was clinics. It was training clinics
it's-
for younger
Okay.
people and so forth. So yeah, we did move them around. I think, well, here's the issue. Once the north fields are open, it's not gonna be an issue anymore, because you guys are gonna be using those fields down there.
Gotcha.
So we'll
Most
open up
likely.
space here, and then we're gonna try to make access. Once the parking lot's there, we're gonna look at access to the field that's in the center, back there.
Yep.
So there's gonna be a lot more room for people to share, and it's gonna help heal, but, so my question to you is, if you had to, if there was a gun to your head and said, when could you give us 2 hours, Monday through Sunday, what would you say? Or are you just saying no?
I know, I'm not gonna say no, of course
Right.
not, this makes sense, let's share it. I think, what I would say is the best field to use would be the field that's closest to the baseball fields,
Yes.
down the hill there.
Mhm.
Obviously, it gets a little more shade, the grass is better, Sunday evenings are a perfect time, the women have the other 2 fields, so,
Well, the problem is gonna be dark by 4:30 come October, November.
yeah, so figure out what time makes sense, I don't know, how they need a 2-hour window?
They said 2 hours.
Yeah.
1 day a week, 2 hours, obviously.
So why don't you just start a little later on Saturday? Because you have 14 hours on the field on Saturday. So why don't you start at 9 or 10, and they can be there at 7 to 9.
It's already booked.
No way,
You can't book anything unless you get approval from the board.
I think we already had, so what time did we just say? That we're looking?
Brenna, you need to come down here on Saturdays to
Saturday,
see it
7
here.
AM to 9 PM.
No, I get that, but at the same time, like you said, everybody's paying the same thing. And when north fields are open, it won't be a problem.
No, I understand that, and listen, field hockey should be in whatever, but, this group's been here for 30 years, everybody's played soccer, so I understand why it needs to be at 9, okay? Just because the amount of games they play and times, and, I mean, it's the whole works. I just think that we need to ask these gentlemen, when can we take 2 hours? Because obviously Eric doesn't care as long as he gets the 2 hours in one field, but we're not gonna the mornings on the weekends are the most important here. It's crazy.
Right.
So am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, that's right. It gets a little nuts. So we start out in the morning with the rec program. The rec program's on Saturdays. Still Saturdays, right? Yeah. Asking because I haven't managed that program too much. But Saturdays, and we usually finish up around 12, 1 o'clock, and then from there the travel games come in because we have all of a sudden the fields open up, so we'll get the travel games come in. U12s will play on the field down the hill, the U10s will play on one field, the 11v11s will play on a bigger field, right? So that pretty much takes most of the fields. The good thing is in the fall we don't need a U8 field because we don't have U8 travel, whereas in the spring we need that 4th field, right? So that's good. So we've tried to rest that this year. We haven't done anything with it. So there is some potential there. We just need to figure out when those travel games will be. I don't know how many are going to be on Sunday. Typically, we try to reserve Saturdays as much as we can so that we don't use the field on Sundays. And that used to be a pretty good balance before the Women's League came in. And then, we just couldn't keep up with the maintenance on the fields. It's just been challenging with, 50, 60, 70 more games in there. That's what the fields are used for. So I'm happy to have them. I love having the women in there. They're fantastic. But it's been a bit of a challenge.
So here's my point. I don't have your contract in front of you. You don't mind if I talk?
Nope, go right ahead.
You start when? 9/10. September 10th is when everything starts?
It says August.
Oh, women's soccer, I'm looking. So yeah, when does your whole full weekend start?
Saturday, I believe it.
Yeah.
But
This-
practices have already started for weeknights, or whenever the coaches are doing practices.
Okay. Because like you said, the field that they're talking about is when Babe Ruth plays and they hit foul balls, it goes that way, right? That's pretty much the field, the smaller.
Yeah, that's the
field
one
we're
that,
talking about.
I've been trying, well, it's been a while since I was the president of the Freetown Lakeville Soccer Club. I'm no longer. I stepped down to vice president and stepped down to director of coaching, and hence I'm here tonight. But yeah, that field, as an aside, if we could extend that fence down and keep it high, that would solve a lot of problems with potential injuries on that U10 field.
But
Yep.
is it, a field hockey field is how big?
So
About the same size.
my daughter played last year, and it was very uneven and downhill around the back of the fields. So I think they're looking for a flatter space, which
No, I'm just talking about width and diameter. Is it the same as a soccer field? Is it smaller? Is it
you'd have to ask
lacrosse
Eric because-
field?
It's almost the same.
it's-
It's a little bit smaller, but not enough to
they're
make
looking
a-
more like a clinic though. And they're not doing tournaments or leagues.
So was your daughter in this?
Yes.
Oh, so you're very familiar with
Yeah.
it. So it's just basically clinics for people to learn how to play.
Yeah.
I've seen the
And
ad.
there's different age groups. I think there's 3 different age groups that they use. So you'd have to ask Eric.
So you think that field wouldn't work because it's sloped, or would work? The one
It'd
we're
have to
talking,
be flat.
right, and that one back there isn't flat, where the little kids play?
Not particular. I mean, there is a slope to it. I don't know enough about field hockey to even comment. That's your.
No, but I'm saying it's not flat.
It's not flat.
Okay.
And which field was that? Was that 3?
Well, that's the one that's going down the hill between the like Precinct Street and the baseball fields.
Yeah, no,
Right
we
back
keep
there. So what field number that changes every year? I
So-
don't know.
So if we're gonna accommodate field hockey, it's gonna have to be on a flat field, not like the ones we did behind the fence or where football was, because that's what the problem was, and that's why he left to Sonnet. I'm not quite sure why he's coming back.
I
But-
think it's because it's closer for everyone.
Okay,
Why wouldn't you want to play here?
So could you do
there's
7
no
to
space.
2 or 7 to 3 on Sunday? And then they could have 3 to 5 and still have the light?
Well, if you did 7 to noon on Sunday, that would give enough time for field hockey and women's soccer.
Do you know how many travel games we have on Sundays?
I don't know the schedule yet. I don't know if there
I
are.
don't know. I don't know whether we need it or we don't need it right now. I hate to do this. Can I punt and get back to you on
The schedule
the
hasn't
email?
come out yet,
Yeah.
because it goes through Southeast
Yeah.
soccer.
Yeah, they just haven't come back
That's,
yet.
they have to make a decision too, and this was supposed to be, this has already been pushed, so, like, we could, but it just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't seem right. He just wants 2 hours a week.
When you look at it, there's no extra benefit to the Freetown Lakeville soccer. I know you've been here for a while, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but you're not paying more money. You're just
Well,
dominating.
it's the amount of people.
When you have more
Right.
kids.
But at
You
the same
think about
time,
how much the Freetown Lakeville Soccer's invested in those fields.
of course.
Like, there were no fields there.
But at the
All the
same
fences,
time,
the Freetown Lakeville Soccer Club paid for, right? All the irrigation, we paid for. All of the goals, we paid for. All
North
the
Field,
lines,
they paid
everything
for.
that's in there. We developed those fields for the soccer program. There was nothing there. There were trees there, right? So the soccer field has just like a new team or a new club coming in. I would love to see them invest the same amount of time and effort into the back of where the football used to be and develop those fields and make them better. That would be great. That's what we had to do too, right? It's grassroots.
and that's fine, and I completely understand that. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
But doing that doesn't give you ownership of the fields, and they're only asking
think-
for 2 hours.
I think the fairest way would be once we get our fall schedule, which isn't
Right.
set in stone yet.
When's our next meeting?
We figure out a time that's
Our
fair
next
for
meeting
everyone.
is September 7th, and soccer is already on our agenda.
When does, field hockey want to start?
Well, they're already doing their registrations, right? So is your daughter doing it in the fall as
I'm
well?
not sure about that, my wife does.
No,
all that.
I'm talking
I do
field
soccer.
hockey.
Right, but, yeah, so the sooner the better, right? Because he's gotta do his schedules and he's gotta do his everything too.
Yeah, this is just, this is just a different thing. It isn't, just asking for, times, I mean, because of who has the fields and who they were contracted for a long time. I mean, Brenna, what if somebody wanted 4 days a week for 2 hours for those fields? Would we say yes?
That's a different situation.
Well, I'm just saying, we're just asking them to bring in another group for 2 hours if it was 2 hours a day. I think we really need to get field hockey here. But obviously, it's gotta be a field that's decent for them to play on. And, once again, the problem is daylight savings time, which is a killer. We don't have lights.
Wait, aren't they getting rid of that?
Mike keeps telling us it is,
That's the
but I don't
following
know.
year.
Okay.
That's what I read. I read it in the comics. So, and the problem is we don't know your schedule or what we could give up, correct?
That's right.
Us,
And
our
if it was,
rosters, I think, are due on Saturday.
and if it was the summer, it wouldn't be a problem. Because they could do 4 to whatever,
problem.
but the problem, it isn't. So, I don't know where we're gonna go with this. We just can't approve something unless we know where it's gonna go.
Which one is field 3?
That's a baseball field, or a soccer field.
Soccer.
We're talking about.
Women's soccer is only using fields 1 and 2. So fields 3 and 4, are either of those decent fields?
No, they said no, they're hilly and they go in the back and
The one that is on the hill, will be used. The U8 field, that's one that's close to the tennis court. I don't know what field number that is, sorry guys.
That's fine.
I don't.
we don't know either, so.
But that one, it's a smaller field, but I don't think we're gonna be using that for travel at all, so that's a good possibility.
And there's also the field by the back behind the tennis court in between the baseball field.
Yep.
That's kind of.
No,
It's-
that's not
yeah,
gonna
it's-
work.
But it's kind of a wedge shaped, isn't it?
That's not gonna work. We
They've
tried it
already
last
tried
year.
Didn't
that.
work?
No,
we-
last year they did behind the fields.
Yeah, and that didn't work. And they tried over when you come in from the parking lot, that field. It's just it's too bumpy.
Okay.
So, and then we tried to put them on the outfield of field 2 and 3, and then you're running into clay and,
Do we know when the north fields are being paved?
oh, that's.
We were hoping they would be open this fall, but that isn't gonna happen.
It really has to be done in the fall, but I wouldn't count on it until November. So,
For the spring.
for the spring. I mean, we really wanted it, but then you run into, we had to get the money for it, which is great. And then we had to get 75-page engineering drawings. Even tells you what grass to put in it if we have to replant. So,
How many bolts the fences need?
huh?
I understand.
Yeah.
How many bolts the fences need and everything else, I get it. Not a problem.
Yeah, and we're doing upper and lower fields, so this is gonna be a showcase. And it's, like I said, it's really built for soccer down there. So anybody else could use these fields and it wouldn't be an issue at all. We could open up for, but what we have to do here is we have to figure out a compromise for someone to come in for 2 hours, Monday through Sunday. I don't know what that is, but I don't think, and listen, you guys are the greatest. You've been here for years, you've done a lot, but I don't think it's a lot to ask to get 2
Right,
hours.
so
That's all.
if we get the schedule, once it's out for the travel, which is, because we can make our own rec schedule, that's already been made. Once we get the fall travel schedule, I think Chris Borges, the president of our club,
Yeah.
can come to you with a fair time.
Let you know what they, likely it's like, I think Sunday would be perfect on that, I call it the U8 field, but it's the one where the closest to the tennis court. It's a good size. It's not a gigantic field, but it's a small field. I don't know how old are the girls, like, you know, with soccer, as your age increases, the field size increases. I'm not sure, does that work with,
Well, because last year they didn't use it as full fields, they were,
that's just clinics, right? Yeah, so they don't need it, so that would be perfect.
I think they would need 2 fields.
So Sunday,
Line down the middle.
women's
Yep.
soccer is 1 to 6. So women's soccer has 2 fields at 1 o'clock on Sundays. So do you think you would be able to get all your travel games in by 1 o'clock on Sundays?
It's not up to us, it's up to the league.
But it doesn't matter, I don't think it matters, because there are no travel games on that field, the one that I'm talking, near the tennis court.
Right, but
So we should be okay. Like, even if we have travel games, it shouldn't matter, in theory. You should be able to use the field. Am I answering the wrong question? Sorry.
No. I know I'm new here. And I know it's been a certain way for the last 10 years. Like, I know you guys have brought in clinics to work over the summer because that was an issue this year when we found out you guys brought in clinics that weren't through the town and the town had no idea it was going on and we didn't have an insurance binder. So we know that. We know that you lost the keys to our office and we're using our office for meetings for the last 10 years. So we know that now because you lost the key.
Did we lose
So
the key?
it just seems to me like, yes, you've done a great job with these fields. Yes, you've been doing it forever, but you gotta share.
No, I think we agree. And I think it's important for the town, for the kids to play field hockey, because other towns and other communities are playing, starting at a much younger age. And
Yeah.
what they're doing would be great.
And it's lacrosse. There's so many things that use football. Unfortunately, you guys all use the same fields. So we have 2 or 3 more fields coming, but they're not here yet. So it just doesn't seem right that you can't come up with 2 hours a week to give to a new sport that's coming up.
Well, I don't think they said they can't. I think they need to look at it. I mean, it's not
Right.
like,
But
yeah,
they knew this was coming. Like, it's been spring, field hockey wanted to come, and there was no time for them. Last year, there was no field, so they were out in the back playing. I have no kids in field hockey. I just think that it just,
well, yeah, but
we can't block other people from coming. First of all, our revenue comes from renting these fields, right? So our choice is either bring new sports in or charge the old sports more, right?
well, yeah, no. No, I'm not debating any or all of that. But to be fair, we just got this request from field hockey because they were in Asona and that's where they moved. So I thought they were there for good.
No, they moved because we couldn't make space for them last spring, is what happened.
No, I understand that, but we just got a request 2 months ago. What?
It was a few weeks ago that we got their request, and we got their request first, and then soccer came in 2 days ago.
Well,
So, I mean, I don't know how you play this. Who puts their application in first gets priority. The league who's been coming here for 10 years gets their
Yeah.
priority. We
Yeah,
just
it's-
assume they're coming back. Like,
I mean, I don't think we should make a decision on whether we thought soccer was coming back. They've been here 30 years and we know they're coming back.
Okay, so the sun sets around 6 o'clock in October, like in the fall. So I think we should pencil in 3 to 5. Put them on a decent field and we'll wait to see what's going on with your league. but that's fair. 3 to 5 cuts your time 1 hour short, and I think that's fair.
What day does
On Sunday.
What day does the women's take up the?
The women
Sundays.
are only taking up field 1 and 2 on Sundays
From 2
at
to
1
6.
from 1 o'clock, 1 to
okay.
6.
From
Well,
what, from what time?
1 to 6.
I would just let them pick the day we can have it 3 to 5, because that, Eric doesn't care.
Yeah, but if
So-
there's kids in school, oh wait, 3 o'clock, never mind.
Yeah, so I'm just saying,
Well, what do you mean
Wait,
3
so then
o'clock?
why can't they be?
preferably, yeah, you're right, preferably would be it's on a Sunday. So, I think what we need to do is approve field hockey, dependent on what field and what day you can do it. But we have to wait to see what that is.
Right, and that's what happened in the spring. We waited and waited and waited, and then
If
we
we
pushed
don't-
and pushed and pushed,
if-
and they left.
If we don't have any games scheduled for the travel teams on Sundays, I don't see it.
Yeah, and
It's all about the
like I
schedule
said,
when we get the schedule.
even if we do, I still think we have a home for them.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm absolutely 100% with you, right? I get it. I'm trying to find a way to make this happen without any issues. I'm
Well, we
trying,
know there
when-
might not
yeah.
even be games on Sundays, I'm not sure.
When will you know?
yeah, I think this week we'll know. I think by Saturday we have to know. So the problem with the soccer is some of it's just out of our control. We're a part of a league that has all of southeastern Massachusetts in it, and we have to submit all the resumes and not all the resumes, the rosters and the teams and everything else. And then once all those get approved, then we can start getting the field scheduled and figuring out when things are going to be. And that just takes way longer than it should, but it always comes down to around this time of year. So, long answer to your question, but I think this week, next couple of days, we should know.
Okay, so, so I make a motion that we accept field hockey. Accept field hockey, depending upon, it is accepted, but we don't know what field or time or day yet. But we should know that by, what, next Saturday?
Probably by the middle of this week, I would think. We have
Okay.
to.
So what you need to do at this meeting and say, hey, Parks Commission say, of course you guys here or whatever, but we need 2 hours on a flat field.
Yep, I got it.
You guys decide what that is, but it's gonna be, if it's happen to be on the weekends, it can be any time. If it's during the week, then it's gotta be, what, 3:30 to 5:30.
Another option would be the U8 field that we don't use.
That's the one I'm talking about.
If they wanted a bigger window, would that be possible? Because we wouldn't have a game there anyways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that should be a conflict at all. And I can work directly with them too. If the president of their organization just calls us up and said, hey, let's figure this out. No problem. We'll figure it out. It's not that big a deal.
So do we wanna approve the U8 field?
I don't know what you might feel
It's
It's the
over.
field right behind the police station.
It's right there. It's right below the police
Is
station.
it flat? Is it
Yes.
rutty?
It's-
Is
it's-
it,
it's
what is
perfect.
it?
It's one of the flatter fields on the.
It's perfect, Melissa. It's
But
better
it-
than
but
what they
it
have
would-
in high
It
school.
wouldn't be big enough for all the kids at once.
Well, they want to split into 2. That's why they need 2 hours, because they split it into 2. So they don't need a room for all the kids.
I wasn't sure. So I don't know.
I am not gonna second that motion, but I'm gonna make another motion if that's okay.
No, we have to vote on this one and get rid of it first.
Okay.
We have to have a discussion.
If it's not seconded.
If it's
If
not
the motion
seconded, we
isn't
can.
seconded, it dies.
All right, so no second. Sorry, Mike.
No problem.
I make a motion to approve field hockey on Sunday from 3 to 5 on fields 3 or 4 on the condition that if they find field 8 acceptable, or whatever field it is, U8, if they find that field's condition acceptable, they can go there, but otherwise they're gonna be on a decent field. And when we find out what's going on with Freetown Lakeville Soccer Club, we can see about adjusting it as necessary.
So let me just get this straight. Your motion is for field hockey to use fields 3 or 4 from 3 to 5 on Sundays,
Unless they approve,
providing it's sufficient for them to play.
yes. And if there is a conflict with soccer's schedule, we can revisit. But field hockey's information is all in right now.
Well, the insurance binder is not because he didn't want to transfer it over to have to transfer it back again.
Right.
Is there a second? I'm gonna second it.
I knew I lived.
I know you did. Any discussion? All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Michael?
I abstained.
You can't, there's only 3 of us.
I say no.
Okay.
Only on the account that we don't have enough information.
But it's also not personal. I
Oh,
don't
no,
think
no,
that
no,
they
listen.
I don't think they should be shoved in the corner just because that's the open field.
No, I understand. Field hockey needs to be here. They need to be here. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I would fight to death, but I think it's premature to say what fields and when until we figure out when that can be.
But this is also the last year this is going to happen because Northfields will be up.
Oh, no. I understand that. But my point is we're not turning them away. We're definitely having them come, and we're definitely going to give them a flat field and put it the times they want. I just think that it's not crazy. I just think that if they can do it on a Wednesday afternoon or Saturday morning or whatever, we should do that instead of just voting on a Sunday and doing those fields.
I suggested a Saturday morning.
It's just the big issue is time because now they have to wait 2 weeks and then we have to vote on it again and readdress this issue. So that's 2 weeks they have to wait to advertise. They have to wait to do their rosters. They have to wait to do their things. So it's just asking them, and that's just making things more difficult for them and pushing them back out.
Well, it wouldn't be on my motion that said we agree to have field hockey here for 2 hours at times where they can play, based on what fields will be available for them.
But they still can't advertise and do all that stuff.
Yes, they can.
How do you sign up for something when you don't know what day it is and what time it is?
Well, how do we
Kids
know?
are so busy, you can't do that.
Well, how do we know? I mean, are we? So what you're saying, it's definite on Sundays from.
It's not definite on Sunday if there's a conflict or if they approve of using the U8 field. But it is definite they will be here and they will have a decent field that's to their standard.
So what you're saying is that
I'm giving them a decent seat at the table. I'm not throwing them scraps.
No. We're giving them a decent field, but that could change every week. It doesn't have to be the same field. Right? It could be 11, it could be whatever. As long as it's a flat field. it's
Women's
fine.
have on Sundays
1 and
at
2.
that time, they have fields 1 and 2. So they only choices are fields 3 and 4 at that time on Sundays. I'm sorry I stole your thing.
And also U8 if they want to use that field.
Except for the other field over there.
The motion allows them to use any field at any time and be adjusted if you guys need Sunday. It allows that. But it just protects them that they're actually going to get something because they actually left because they weren't, right?
They left because the fields we could give them were too bumpy.
Right. So we're guaranteeing them a field that will keep them here, which keeps the revenue and doesn't terribly interfere with soccer potentially.
So you're saying it has to be a Sunday?
It has to be what?
It has to be a Sunday at from what time to what time?
So I played soccer and you don't want to skip practice.
No.
It wouldn't-
I'm saying your motion, is that they're going to play on Sundays from what time to what time?
The motion guarantees them Sunday from 3 to 5, unless they want to change it, or there's an issue that we can talk about later.
And it doesn't matter which field.
It doesn't matter which, I put 3.
Whatever the women's
The women
soccer.
are, they're on 1 and 2. Field hockey can take 3 and 4, or the one that's in the back.
So it doesn't matter, you already did the motion, so.
I know you would have to re-motion.
I don't see the problem.
With re-motioning?
No, I'm not re-motioning. I genuinely don't see the problem. Okay, so what are we doing next?
This is it. We saved this for last, the good stuff for the last.
Okay.
Although, all right, so we're moving on. Choose our next.
Do you have anything else
Oh,
to say before
sorry.
you leave?
Did you,
They're right here, you're pretending they're not there.
A couple of questions.
They weren't on the agenda, so, go ahead.
Oh, if we're not on the agenda, we can come back.
No, no,
next
go ahead.
week. So,
I looked
We already
today, were
opened
on
it
the
up.
agenda, I thought.
Yeah,
Where are they? Is it on
They
the
were on the,
19 item agenda?
they were on
yeah, they
that.
usually don't tell me to show unless they're there, but
No,
whatever.
go ahead, that's fine, go ahead.
So one of the things we're trying to do, so as you know, the Parks Department used to own the tennis club, right?
Yeah.
And it sold it to the tennis club because of the bad roof. Bad roof never got replaced. Well, we've lost our training facility in the tennis club. Hence, our competitiveness, especially over the winter, has gone down. Like, we can't train our players over the winter where we used to be able to go in there and train them all the time. I had, 4 hours a day, every day of the week, they were over there training. Right now, all the gyms, Assawamsett, Grays, doesn't matter, they're all being used by basketball or another sport, so we can't get in there either. So one of the capital initiatives that the club is thinking about is how do we put a facility in? So I'm gonna start brainstorming this, and I just wanted to kind of raise it to your attention, and it's something that we'd love to come back with, to say, that field that we're talking about right now for the field hockey, we'd love to see something there or nearby. Let's find a spot that we could build an indoor training facility.
Well, like I said, everything and anything's on the table. Obviously, it's got to go through us and
Of course, yeah.
highway department and
I don't
stuff.
know if that would be allowed.
Yep.
Huh?
I don't know if that would be allowed.
Well,
Isn't
no,
that-
we're
No, I
not
mean-
debating whether it's allowed. I said, bring anything you want to the table,
Right,
and
right.
then we'll just see if it's allowed or not.
But no, just so you're aware ahead of time, Ted Williams is natural heritage. So like the police station, when this was built here, there was a $75,000, payment to build here. So that's just something to keep in mind.
That's fine.
There's space, you could look at John Pond Park. There's a lot of trees, and behind that last field, there's a lot of open space. The facility could be there. But just be aware in your plans that Ted Williams might not be able to accommodate that because of natural heritage.
Yeah, no, and we don't at this point really care where it is. Okay, we'll find a spot. Like,
Yeah.
this police station in particular has all kinds of issues that we all know, right? Everything from parking behind a thing that's blocked off our fields to a drainage easement that took 30% of our parking spaces away and everything else, the height of the building and you name it, right? So I know how these things go, I get it, right? But I'm just trying to plant a seed right now. This is something we're looking to do. The club is interested in putting a facility in, paying for that facility, not using Parks Department funding, and getting something going with this. So I think it's a good thing for the park. I think it's a good thing for the community. It's a great way to keep both soccer, field hockey, it doesn't matter what sport it is, they should be able to make use of that facility,
Absolutely.
right?
It's going all year round.
Yep.
So it was our intention when we did this capital project to get these north fields open by the fall, because that would have solved everything and its brother, everything. But then we ran into red tape and then engineering plans. I mean, things that I guess had to be done. But being that we had so many other projects going on, I mean, we were jumping up and down that this, after how many years, is going to get done. And that was a big, Scott and I fought for that. And you know what? We really didn't even have to fight for it. The selectmen and Ari and the board here said, go for it, because it's crazy. The fields are beautiful down there. And it's going to open up more stuff for us. So this is what we got to deal with this fall. We got to make it work with field hockey. And then once everything's done, then the board can sit over the winter and meet with the groups and work out who's going to do what. So everyone's got time. And then I think everyone's going to be happy. Agree?
Agree.
I hope so.
Don't forget what that says.
Yeah, I see it.
There was also another question. The no parking signs on that humongous gate.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Those parking signs have been taken. The no parking signs have been taken up a ton of spots, and they were never supposed to be put up there.
What's the parking sign?
There's a back entrance to the parking lot for the police station, and it's on this side, of course, of the parking area, and it's no parking. And I thought that exact same thing when I saw it. And then there's that truck that's parked in the parking lot
The
also.
SWAT truck.
Yeah, this huge truck missing a
Why?
tire.
When did that change?
I don't know. I just noticed
It's been
it.
like that for a year or two.
Since-
Yeah, that's
For-
been about a
since they
As
year.
built
soon as the
it-
building went in, they put those up, and
Yeah,
it wasn't part of the original plan, right?
No.
It wasn't on it, and
right.
There's a bunch
okay,
of spots right
lost
there,
more
too.
Yeah.
spots
Can
closer to
we-
the field, so.
Well, they have to get in and out of there in case of an emergency, right? So you have to understand that. But maybe, I don't know, we I don't know. Well, it's something we'll have
How-
to talk to
is-
them about.
Go ahead, I'm
Is there
sorry.
a camera on the side of the building?
I don't know.
Is there enough room if there were a camera to put like, what are they called? Those big cement squares, like at parking lots?
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, those, so to put those back enough that the cars would pull in but still be visible from the camera. I could see it being a security issue. They don't want people parking right up against the station's fence, but if there's a camera,
Well, it's the
There be-
gates, it's the
Yeah, I
gates
know.
that the trucks come in and out of that they've, because they take the truck and park it back there, but the entrance to that parking lot is through the Parks Department parking. It's not through here, right?
Got it.
So that's it, it's just the gates.
How many parking spots did we lose?
Maybe like
For the
6 or
gates,
7.
yeah, about that.
Oh,
It's
so-
not,
So it isn't a lot, but, so when this police station was built and it was ready to go, that was accessible, and then, what, a year after it wasn't accessible, or was it like that when?
no,
when
as soon as they
built
put it in, they put the gates in and started parking the vehicles
Oh.
back there, and we lost that.
Well, we're gonna lose that.
And then, it was, the grading was too high, so now all the water that you get from the rain doesn't go this way, it goes back into the fields, and we already had a drainage problem when the fields were built, right? The good thing was the Freetown soccer folks know a lot about soccer. They don't know a lot about building fields, so they didn't really grade them down the right way. There's not a lot of great drainage, and so that exacerbated a little bit the challenges we have when it rains. We can't get those fields dry. They put the swale in, that's helped a lot, but that took up another 30% of the parking. Now people are overloading the other side of the parking, like if you come on a Saturday or Saturday really, the other side of the parking gets crazy. So anyway, long story short, if there's anything we can do about, improving the parking back there, that'd be great.
Yep. I mean, yeah,
have you reached out to the superintendent of the schools?
Someone on our
Yeah,
board
someone,
has, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
because I know he's looking to do turf fields, and
Yep.
if you're willing to invest in things, I feel like that might be
Turf
something
fields.
that would work.
Yeah, we've, I don't know what he's got planned. The turf complex over at the high school is, even for us to use their fields, $500 an hour to the Freetown Lakeville soccer clubs, despite the fact that we bought the aerator and the tractor that they use and everything else for those fields, right? So it hasn't been great. If they put turf in, I can't even imagine that it's gonna be anything less than that, so, yeah.
well, anyway, we,
Yep.
appreciate you guys for coming. Of course, we appreciate all you've done for the parks, and I'm glad that we could figure this thing out for field hockey for this year, which, Brenna and Ruth are right, it's something that we should do. And, so hopefully that works out for you guys. You can always give Melissa an update on what's happening and stuff, and as far as the field goes. With the women using it, whatever flat field's available, I guess that's what we're gonna do, is just let them go to any level playing field.
Yes. And the
So,
motion left room that if there's a conflict in your schedules and you can work it out with field hockey, that's fine. But they just,
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
This I'm not worried about.
No, it's
We'll
not a big
find a way for these folks to play. Like, field hockey shouldn't be a problem. We had some challenges with setting up lacrosse games because their pattern of usage and the way they tear goals up, it's a little bit different. But field hockey,
Well,
young kids, figure it out.
we don't have them this year, but hopefully they'll come next year when we have the fields open down there.
That's it. It's just a matter of having someone that can invest the resources and money into keeping those maintained, because you'll have to do a little bit more on
Oh, yeah, but,
on those fields.
but
in the
that's the reason we pretty much did it,
Yep.
was to get more revenue over here and you guys to get
Yep.
whatever, and
Yep. And we understand it takes time with all this stuff. I get it. But that doesn't surprise me at all over there. It's great that we're going to finally get it. Fantastic. Like, just keep moving the dial forward. We're happy.
yeah, and we'll
good.
keep you updated on that anyway.
I appreciate
but
that.
It'd be
Thank
nice to have it ready to go
Yep.
for spring.
All good. Yep. All right. Anything else you need from the soccer club at all?
No, you just keep in touch with Peter about schedules and,
As soon as we get it, we'll let you know.
Yeah, and we'll revisit your contract your agreement next week next meeting when they come in.
Okay.
Because you're coming back on the 7th, or some version of you is coming back on the 7th.
Hopefully a better looking version of me.
The email that I got was like, oh, we'll come on the 7th, and I was like, all right, so, but here you are, so that's perfect. We don't get visitors, so.
Nice to have friends. Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks so
Thank you
much.
for your time.
thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
Appreciate it.
If there's nothing else, we can pick our next meeting date and adjourn. So we have the police station on September 7th, which soccer club will be joining us again. But our every other week brings us to August 31st. So I think we should meet on August 31st and clear up the rest of this agenda, get it out of here, so we can start fresh for September. Yes, Michael?
I think for that week, I think we should meet, but would like Tuesday be better because it is Labor Day weekend, and I don't
It's
know,
Labor Day weekend.
and people like I'm going away that weekend, but I'll be here through, Tuesday, and I don't know what Scott's doing, I don't know what Paul's doing, but is
Right.
there a big difference if we do it on a Tuesday or Thursday?
Not to me. Brendan,
I know.
do you have anything
I
on your
just
schedule?
can't do Wednesdays. I'm good for Tuesday.
Yeah,
For
so
Tuesday?
This way we know everyone's. gonna
So we'll
be there.
check with them for Tuesday,
Yeah,
okay? And so I guess I'll let you know on that, and then other than that, it'll be September 7th. We have a motion, anything else, nothing else?
So the Tuesday would be the 29th of August?
Sure.
Okay.
is it?
Well, if Thursday's the 31st,
Yes.
Okay, and then the 7th. Great.
okay? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
Okay, we adjourn at 8:11.